Hello and welcome to the Side Escape Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Jake, joined as always by James St. Charles. James, how are you doing? It's Thursday.
It's Thursday night. This is
But
the
it's
time
Monday
we
morning for
record.
people listening. This is the time we
Monday
record.
morning
I'm in a mood. I was telling you earlier, I'm in a good mood, but I am loopy. I'm tired. It's been a long week.
I've been up early.
Haven't slept much.
Oh,
That's good. That means that's giving me some good energy until I crash.
yeah. Well, you're up on 2 LaCroix now.
On 2 LaCroix.
Those are caffeine free though, right?
Sadly, yeah. I don't like it. I'm not fucking with caffeine at
No. Yeah. Like, yeah.
I used to
That's
be a
the sleeping
kid,
problem.
and we used to think before we realized I have like a big anxiety disorder, but like I'd have like a Pepsi or like a caffeinated drink, maybe like at like dinner. Go to Red Robin, I'm getting a Coca-Cola, and we're like convinced that like the caffeine was keeping up. Like the 3 sips of caffeine from a Coke was like, Jake's screwed. He's staying up all night. Then we later realized, oh, it's probably the anxiety disorder keeping him up. But besides the point.
Is that still? Are you still dealing with that? Is that why you can't sleep or?
No, I just can't sleep because I'm crazy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a lot of
Yeah, he's crazy. All right. That's it.
Because
Folks.
this is the Side Escape Gaming Podcast, where each and every Monday morning we come to you live on YouTube and SoundCloud
Yes.
and maybe Spotify with a brand new episode where we podcast.
I'm gonna work on it tomorrow.
Work on it tomorrow.
Yes.
Podcast from 500 miles away to talk to you about the latest video game news like coronavirus canceling. See? Question mark? And a main topic where we're going to be talking, basically going through the Xbox Series X and PS5 specs with kind of a much more technical expert than myself, James St. Charles. And of course, we always end the show with building our Side Escape top 20 games, one game at a time, unless we cheat like the last 2 weeks. But James, you're adding one game this week?
One game. Yeah.
One
we're
game.
not doing
All
that.
right. We're not cheating anymore.
Yeah.
But before we do any of those shenanigans, before we get to all of that, James, I'd like to know, what have you been playing?
Jake, did you print out the run of show this week?
Oh my God. Okay, yes. So I print out a run of show. I write up a whole Google Doc. This is great. This is funny as hell. So I do this whole thing. I always send it to James. James, take a look at it beforehand. So then I'm going through the doc, and it's like, James made changes. James only made one change. And in the what he's been playing, James wrote chess, checkers, and Yahtzee.
Yeah, there's some big content for chess this week. They had a big patch, and
what's
checkers.
the big update to chess? They finally.
You can finally move wherever you want. Like that was the update.
Whoa.
Like they just threw out the whole game. It's called Blitz Chess.
No kidding. Yeah, it's just every character is a queen.
Yep.
Wow.
No, yeah, it's always like I never write anything there because you always write your stuff, and then this time you didn't write anything. Actually, yeah, you didn't write anything. And then,
I didn't write anything. Yeah.
So, but anyways, you also want me to start with what I have been playing.
Yeah. So have you been playing anything?
All right, Yakuza continued. Okay, so 3 is This is what I'll say. If you start playing 0, 1, and 2, 3 is gonna be total ass. You have to really love the story to go through with it. Cause man, you have like these 20-minute unskippable cutscenes, unpausable cutscenes, and it's like you're just dying there, and I'm just like, luckily I have 2 monitors, so I have something else to do, but it's boring. The story is like really lame. It's really political, and it's just not exciting.
Are you gonna beat it?
I'm gonna definitely beat it because like I have to get to the end at this point. I'm halfway through.
James, do you want to make your public service announcement about Yakuza?
Yes, this is a public service announcement to anyone who has Xbox Game Pass or the PC version, PC Game Pass, because Yakuza 0 just came out on both of them.
Wow!
Free.
Finally, I can play it for
Best
free.
Yakuza game.
Exciting!
Play it.
You're gonna make me buy it.
No, well, you did. Yeah, I didn't make you spend the $20. I got you.
Yeah, right.
So now it's
Imagine
free.
if I would have done it last week.
Well, now you're gonna be screwed because I get to spend $20 on 1 if you like 0.
Yeah. I'll get there. There's
Yeah.
a lot of games out. There's a lot of games.
Play
coming
0.
out.
0 best story. That's all I'll say. So 0 has best story.
But James, we're like less than 2 weeks away from Origin.
That's why there's perfect timing to play the game because there's nothing out.
I'm gonna play Bloodroots tonight.
Bloodroots.
A little indie game about hacking and slashing as like a lumberjack.
Okay. But you can hack and slash in Yakuza.
Are you
Best
a
hack and
lumberjack?
slash.
Are you a lumberjack?
Possibly you could dress up as a lumberjack.
Not buying it. That sounds like a cop out.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right,
Anyways,
other than Yakuza, because I think we.
well, you
talked
go.
a lot
You
about
go. Let me find out what you play. I'll talk
Okay.
about something.
So I've been playing Dreams. Big surprise. I had
Yes.
a review. Please watch last episode. That like minute 20 something. I go into my Dreams review. Really like Dreams. playing a lot more Dreams. Dreams though has its first, I think, major hurdle to get through. And it's been the Media Molecule. The developers actually talked about this. I wanted to put it as a news story, but didn't care to have as news. Didn't actually.
We have big news.
We have a lot of news. So I didn't think it was on that level of news. But basically, there's a curation problem right now where a lot of the like trending now things are basically like rehashes of games or like remakes, like the Fallout 4 thing, which is really impressive. But it's a lot of people like
blatant IP ripoff.
Yeah, a lot of people like remaking like the Ghost of Tsushima thing, like the trailer, which is really cool that they remade it. But that shouldn't be the content that's being really promoted. And so it should be this original content. So they're working on like a new algorithm basically to promote the right content, where like right now all of the stuff that's really great on Dreams is a lot of remakes, and that's a problem where like there's such potential for unique content. I hope that they can solve that kind of curation problem soon, because it's hard to find something where you're like scrolling and you're like, it's Tetris, like cool, I played Tetris, but I can play Tetris anywhere. I don't have to play it in Dreams. It's impressive you made Tetris in Dreams, like that's really cool, but I'm not here to play Tetris.
So I think this is like an issue that happens with every single type of like sandbox game right off the bat. So, but that being said, it's really impressive with some of the like IP copy stuff. Like I saw someone remake Gex. Looks exactly the same. Like it looked amazing. There's potential where people, eventually you have like a sandbox game and people will restart remaking stuff, just be like, oh, I remade this. And then eventually community forms around like a game mode or something like that. And then it like takes off. Like Minecraft has like several ones that have taken off. Like they have their own private servers. Gary's Mod, big bunch of different worlds there that like were like unique to it. So I think eventually something will probably settle. Yeah. And seeing as like you have a company that's really behind the game.
Yeah.
And development.
9 years making it.
So really a really dedicated team to like make it better. Yeah, they definitely need to start handling the IP issues before Nintendo comes knocking on their door. Someone started making Super Mario 64, and I was like, that's a scary.
I don't even think that the IP like issues are like, obviously that will be a problem if they start charging for stuff that you.
If they start charging, that's going to be the issue.
But I think the bigger problem is just like as a consumer of like what I want to play. Like it's cool to see someone make Super Mario 64 again, but I want to see like what people are making like on like the creative aspect where it's like their own game. And so like I forget what it's called. It's like Cow Racer or Cow Driver or something. And it's this racing game where you're like a cow in a rocket pack, and like you have to like basically guide yourself through like a field of electric fences, and it's like a race, and it's really fun. I think we're gonna be doing like a Let's Play kind of series with some Dreams games, Hunter and I think that's one I'm gonna showcase because it's very radically ridiculous but fun, and it's brand new, and it's like the most complete game I've probably played on there. But it's harder to find than the Darth Vader Star Wars Rogue One scene. And I was a big Star Wars fan. That's great. But I want more experiences like that cow tipper thing to show the potential rather than like, really cool, this guy made something with Star Wars, Yeah. So I think that's their big hurdle that they, for me, really have to move past.
How's the discovery system? Like, is it just based off popular vote? Is it just like similar to games you played or something?
There's a few like discovery options, I guess. So there is one where Media Molecule is curating their own list. It's like Media Molecule picks or whatever it's called. Then there's the trending one, which is the trending one is just based off plays. Okay. It's not based off likes, it's just plays. And that's where right now we're getting a lot of that like rehashed remake content. But then there is like a few sections that are like most liked or like like certain different kind of curated areas, like, but mainly I would say it is the trending, and then it is Media Molecules. So they do. They're called like Impy Awards, and they give out like basically awards to certain games, shorts, assets, anything that are pretty like easy to pick up and like, oh, okay, cool. This is like Media Molecule's favorite piece of artwork from. So that their curation's good. I think it's just the algorithm curation is not as good as it should be.
Okay.
For discoverability.
Yeah, that's going to be the issue because you come up with a new game and then it's like, well, it's like a new IP, so no one knows it. So is it going to get enough traction? Like,
yep.
That's
like how Spyro is going to get a lot of clicks.
It needs to really like be put in there like in people's, faces basically.
Well, it's like, I don't know if I talked about it last week, but like there's the Flash, like Barry Allen,
Mhm.
the guy who runs really fast from DC Comics. Someone made a great asset of Barry Allen, and you hold the right trigger and he runs really fast, and like it plays music really fast, right? So that's cool. But then there's like 45 different games of just people using this Barry Allen asset in like different cityscapes, or like the Dragon Ball Z city. I think I did talk about this. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's so many of these now. It's like, okay, we get it. Barry Allen's an asset in dreams. Let's make something new. Like, let me see. I shouldn't in my recommended have like 6 of them that are like the Flash, work in progress, the Flash, and
Yeah, the
Dragon
exact
Ball
same
Z.
Flash.
Like, all right, I
Yeah.
get it. The Flash is a cool model. Like, it's just odd.
Do you think, quick question, but do you think that it's easy for someone to like copy your game? Like take your game and then make it like theirs? Like kind of basically steal your game?
I don't know if that's. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to answer that because Dreams, a lot of it is encouraged to pull from people's stuff and use those assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or to remix something. That being said, if you make some really cool platformer and I take it and just like
Yeah,
put a
blatantly
cat,
like take it up. Yeah.
yeah, like I put a cat in instead of a robot.
Yeah.
It still shows like level design by James Shank.
God. Okay. So
Like
you're
it still pays
protected on that
credit.
way.
Yeah. So like it'd be really hard, I think, unless you basically remake something in
Redid
Dreams
everything. Yeah.
on your own. Like unless you're using their assets, then that's like they get credit for their assets.
Got it.
Yeah, because like you'll see like remixes of like, and they've got like 15 names of like that made the tree and it's like, so it says like asset by this by that.
Okay. That's cool then. That's
So
a
yeah,
good way to do it.
they give credit. Dreams
Nice.
is still spectacular. I can't wait to like. I love showing people. I was showing Parker, who will be on some Saturday content. But I was showing him through Dreams, and he was like, "Oh, this is like way cooler than I was."
Yeah,
like-
I watched some video and a review of it, and I was like, definitely blown away from what I originally
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah, it's and it's a hard game to talk about. It's just a weird concept of a game,
Yeah.
and that's really all I've been playing.
Ooh.
But this weekend, that's gonna change. Got nothing to do.
Okay.
That's
I
great.
played one other game.
All right, Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
Did you roll a Yahtzee?
I Yahtzeed.
Wow.
I Yahtzeed into God of War. Yeah, I started playing God of War.
Golf club.
Because I remember you reminded me last week, and I was like, oh yeah, I did start that. And then when I
Yep.
started, I just like, I just barely played.
How many hours are you
So,
in now?
I'm a couple hours in. 2 hours.
How
in.
much?
2 hours. Yeah.
What do you think? Give me some
So,
first impression thoughts.
So basically, okay, game wise.
Without spoiling stuff.
Yeah,
I think
let's
it's a
do
game
like
I
let's
want.
do like a 2 hour quick thing. Not like 2, but like
We're gonna
my-
talk
my
for 2
first
hours.
take
It'll
of
be
2
really
hours.
quick.
yeah. Beautiful.
Oh.
Definitely like the most beautiful game PS4 game I
Yep.
played because that's
Dude,
like,
and
the
that
best one.
shit on PS4 Pro.
I know. I was like, I was when I was playing, I was like, damn. Can I imagine if I was playing a pro? Like this would look so much better. But I have
Yeah.
HDR, so like with
Yeah,
like, my
I'm
monitor,
seeing
it's
that.
still great. But yeah, it could be a lot better. But anyways, like how the story like progresses, and then with the tutorials, barely any hand holding. Like there's a lot of
Yep.
discoverability. Beautiful, exactly what you need. Like let you play how you want. The axe throwing and it's so smooth. It's so like satisfying and
Dude, it might
like-
be the best feeling weapon in a game.
so the combat with it too, and just the way the combat, it's like a mix between Injustice, like Mortal Kombat, like satisfying combos, and like the Batman series kind of like fighting. Like it's just like really easy to go from one to the other to like fight a bunch of enemies. It's
Yeah, one of my favorite things is you throw the axe at someone, right? And like
Yep.
it lands and the guy falls down. Another guy comes up to you, you're like punching him. There's another guy that guy gets back up, like come and hit you.
Yeah.
You pull the axe back and it trips
Yeah.
that guy up again, and then you start hitting someone with the axe. It's like,
I love it. And then you have like your boy
boy.
to like help you out, and then but then the first fight, the first like boss battle,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like it's just like you beating the crap out of him.
It's
Yeah,
two
that's
gods
cool.
fighting, and it.
Yeah,
so
it is
cool.
just like, damn, this is God of War, and it starts out like it's like right away. It's like the first 20-30 minutes into the game.
So, have you gotten to where the game opens up?
No,
'Cause I don't think that's big. Like, I feel like that's
basically
Like, they talked about that.
you leave, and then like
Yeah.
I'm in the part like 30 minutes in after that, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what a game! I can't wait to hear just like your progress through it. I mean,
yeah, it's fun.
It's a long game too, but it never feels like it's overstaying its welcome. The story's awesome. I love doing all the side quests. I got the platinum in that game. I just want to do everything.
Yeah.
The customization of
the world is so good. Like, when you're going through it, everything like is pretty much fits right. Like, and you're right. It's like not too big. It's not too daunting. It's just feels good.
Yeah. Have you met the dwarf yet?
No.
Okay. He's like one of my favorite. Brock. He's the guy, like your blacksmith, basically. He's like awesome. He's just a total douchebag.
Yeah. So anyways, that's a great game.
Yeah.
So
it's one of the.
I know it's gonna be good. Yeah, like I know it's gonna be good, but so
yeah,
I'm
very
late to the
excited
party.
for you to play.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Your top 5 or whatever. It's good.
It might. I'm gonna power through it this weekend.
Okay.
Because I basically what happened was like I played through Yakuza 3 and then I was like, oh god, I need some action, and then I like
need a palate cleanser.
Yeah, I need to like take a shower. It was like so bad.
Yeah, God. I'm really excited for you to play it because I know your PlayStation came with Horizon Zero Dawn as well.
Yeah, and then like I tried downloading it and then it like errors, so I have to like re-download it, and it's like 50 gigs. So just like I was gonna play Zero Dawn first, but something happened there. But I still have it, Yeah,
I have the disc if you need it too.
I might need it.
Yeah, great game. All 3 of those are top tier PlayStation games.
But I'm ready for PS4 games.
What, for PS5 or PS4?
PS4. But you know what else I'm ready for, Jake?
Ready for
the news.
Let's talk about it because Jesus Christ, James, we got a lot to talk about. But first, you gave your PSA a little update about Yakuza 0. I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite games of all time. It's going to be free next week on PlayStation Plus.
Kingdom Hearts
Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be free on PlayStation Plus. If you haven't played Shadow of the Colossus, it is incredible. It's a very Zelda-like game where you are killing these giant bosses. It's one of the great games. I really recommend it.
What was the February games? I downloaded it, but I can't remember what.
They weren't good. What were they? I don't remember. Look that up. They weren't good. Because Shadow of the Colossus is great. Then the other game is Sonic Forces, which looks real ass.
Sonic Forces. Oh my god.
Sonic Forces looks like butt. Yeah. Don't play it. Okay, so let's just jump in the news. We got a lot of big things to talk about with gaming news. First is something that we're very excited about. The Resident Evil 3 remake demo officially coming via Twitter, which I think is so funny that companies announce stuff on Twitter. Just like the official RE Twitter account tweeted on Tuesday, February 25th. It was written in the stars. A Resident Evil 3 demo is on the way. We'll have more details in the near future. The game comes out on April 3rd, and we will be playing the demo on a future episode of Side Escaping, probably with James and I in person, maybe.
Oh, that'd be amazing if that happened. There's so much like crossed. Around like when I'm there. Like
fingers crossed. I know. Yeah, we have Ori as well. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, just quick thing. I did find the list of games, but I'm actually gonna save it for the very, very end because it ties in with it ties in with the top 20 games.
Oh, wait, the games for PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, for February.
The hell is on PlayStation Plus? It's gonna be the top.
We'll find out later. Let's get back in the news.
Now I'm really confused. Okay. Because usually that doesn't make sense. Okay, so last week we talked about Sony leaving to not going to GDC or PAX East. Literally during the episode, Oculus was doing the same for GDC. Now, a few other companies. When I wrote this news story, only 2 companies had dropped out. Mm-hmm. Now an extra 3 have dropped out today before I wrote this doc. So Kojima Productions pulls out of GDC due to coronavirus scares. I was going to read the whole news story, but I think since there's so many companies now dropping out, we should just talk about that.
Yep.
The main thing that's interesting with Kojima Productions is Hideo Kojima was the keynote speaker for GDC. Obviously, he will not be now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one thing before we go into this. Mm-hmm. It's actually like somewhat related, but it's kind of a work thing. So this week, where I work, you don't need to know where I work, but my coworkers went to a conference, and it was like a tech conference, and all of the Asian companies didn't show up. Canon, like big Asian tech companies, all of them didn't show up, and we had like meetings with them and everything, and so it was only like American companies, and so it was like empty conference. And I was like, this is going to be a big thing. And today we had like a big, I have a small company, but we had like a big meeting like with everyone about coronavirus. Like it's just like about all this stuff that's happening. We went from like 2 cases yesterday to like 28 today. So it's pretty scary.
Well, the CDC basically said that it's going to spread into the US no matter what we do. So that's always pleasant to hear.
So so these companies, you texted me Microsoft. I haven't. What are the other companies that are?
Okay, so earlier today, Microsoft announced that they will not be attending GDC as well, which was big because they last week talked about how they were going to basically be using GDC to talk about a lot of their new tech with their system to developers. GDC, is the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco.
It's huge.
It's not. It's very big for. It's not a
developers.
Big consumer show.
It's not a big consumer. You're right. Yeah.
There's really not a lot of announcements made, but they'll be like, ray tracing's the big thing. We're all going to talk about ray tracing. Nintendo always does a direct with like indie games for GDC. But that's really about the announcements, really. So Microsoft then announced today, and I don't have the quote because it happened well, that they won't be attending GDC. Along with them, Epic Games will not be attending GDC. And the one that I think is actually one of the most fascinating is Unity won't be attending GDC. Unity is a game engine.
Yep.
Which is pretty big that, a very large game engine is not going to. So, and then also, EA pulled out of GDC as well. So you've lost PlayStation, Microsoft, Kojima, Unity, Oculus.
Wait, so is Nintendo still going to show up?
I don't know Nintendo's presence there much. I haven't heard anything that they're not, but I don't know how big their presence is. I assume they have some. The interesting thing, though, is like a lot of people were thinking that it had to do with air travel. Like that's why companies were coming. Well, EA is located right in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And they're not going to San Francisco. So it's definitely like don't want to force people all into the same room kind of thing.
Yeah, but you still have events going on like PAX East and all
right, but think of the people that dropped out of PAX East. I mean, CD Projekt Red isn't there.
Sony. Naughty Dog.
All of them.
So
all of Sony.
It is like honestly, these are like good things that are happening, if that makes sense. Just because precautions are always good, but that being said, everything's like dropping. Like we're like market wise, it's like it's a temporary dip, but it's like a necessary.
Are they going to cancel GDC?
No, they're gonna still host it. It's way too expensive. It's way too expensive to cancel. Unlike, I don't know if you have this on your newsletter. I didn't read ahead, but today.
Way to be prepared.
IEM. You didn't have any news on that? Okay, good.
On what?
Intel Extreme Masters Katowice in Poland. Big tournament for Counter-Strike. They basically canceled opening it to the public. So they had like this big like stadium.
Wow.
This is a big year, like EU, Poland, CS:GO. It's like a really big tournament. And they basically are just hosting it with just the teams. That's it. And they're just streaming it all.
That's
but
crazy.
People like flew there, and like got tickets, and then like they basically said sorry, so they're all in their hotel rooms just watching it. Like they're canceling like tournaments, like.
Yeah, that's insane.
So, that was a big thing, and it's like I don't understand like who makes those calls, but when they had they had the statement from one of the vice presidents, and he was like in tears, like delivering the message, like that, like he was just like we're sorry, but it's rough.
Well, my guess too is so companies like Sony and Microsoft, it's got to be the employees, oh my God, I don't want to travel for GDC because of coronavirus, blah, blah, and they tell their supervisor, and then it goes with the chain of command to the point where Sony's like, we just can't go because we have to do this for our employees.
Yeah. No,
then it becomes
you lose,
our employee.
Yeah. You lose your valuable customers.
Yeah.
Or your valuable employees that are gonna like make stuff on a tight deadline pretty soon with consoles and games coming out, so you don't need them getting sick and possibly dying, even though this disease has been relatively low. But that's the issue. It's like it spreads really great, and that's what makes a horrible virus.
Yeah,
it doesn't kill a host, that it spreads.
Just spreads. It's just very interesting, and we obviously just in the 2 days now we've had 5 major companies fail on GDC and Sony beforehand, and wow.
No, yeah, so they'll still host it, just like they had this work conference this week. They just it'll just be like okay, why did I show up? Because none of the big companies that I wanted to actually talk with are here.
Are there? Yeah, because apparently it's like a big marketing. Like I said, it's really not a consumer show. It's much more for marketing of like people networking. That's the word I was.
Yeah, it's networking, showcasing off technology and capability.
Mm-hmm.
GDC has been a big thing for Valve as well, like for showcasing off like VR and HTC. So they definitely were. Actually, Valve's probably still going.
Yeah, we haven't heard that Valve's not. I assume they would be with Half-Life Alyx. Like,
yeah,
you're a month away from playing Half-Life Alyx.
Yes,
you're a month away from knowing that Half-Life.
You can play Half-Life Alyx too. You can hook up PSVR to PC.
Can I play it?
I'll teach you.
All right, help me out.
It actually works.
I'll play it.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
They have a open. It's like open VR that like lets you like configure things how you want.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta find out why Gordon Freeman is no longer has legs. Like, I gotta know what happened to his legs, because obviously that's the big cliffhanger from episode 2.
That is exactly it.
He loses both legs, and we don't know how. Like, we see him at the very end. The door opens. He hobbles out on his little stumps, and
then he yells, "Sharon!
Exactly.
Where are my legs?
Where are my legs?" And then it cuts to black, and it says, "Will be continued."
And then G-Man pops up, and he's like, "Legs are my." Yeah, and then
I don't know. Now we're getting too deep.
Yeah.
I just know he doesn't have legs.
Yep, he doesn't have legs. He uses portals to walk around.
That's the sequel. That's what it's about. It's all about
that's the tie. Same universe.
That's what Half-Life and that's what half Orbital is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do something different. Our big topic this week also is. So I'm gonna read a big news story. It's gonna be a walk. Okay, get your listening ears on. Get ready. I like the look. So, Microsoft confirms more Xbox Series X details. This is from Brendan St. Clair at GamesIndustry.biz. Xbox head Phil Spencer today said the next console generation will be defined by more playing and less waiting. And some of the Xbox Series X features were designed with that in mind. For example, the system will have a quick resume feature that lets players have multiple games in a suspended state for a near instant return to action. Like the Xbox One X, the Series X will also support HDMI 2.1, which will let the console automatically set the TV connected. Automatically set the TV connected or monitor to the mode with the lowest latency and synchronize refresh rates between the display and the game. So what does that mean?
VSync. Also, 2.1 is I actually have it on this monitor right here. That's lets you basically have like the 144 hertz refresh rate, whereas like the old HDMI did not let you. You were like capped at like 60 hertz. So the 2.1 that lets you go wherever you want. So you don't need to have a DVI or display port.
Okay.
So awesome! I didn't even know the One X had the 2.1. Also, quick thing, can you explain quick resume? Because doesn't PlayStation have that technically, like with one?
Yes. So what I interpret the quick resume as, and it's all just they have not showed this, they're just saying it. You will be able to basically be playing multiple games at the same time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So like you say you're playing Halo single player, and then on your Xbox Series 1X, and then I like text you and I'm like, James, let's play a quick game of Madden. And instead of being like, hey, I'm at this part in Halo, I gotta save.
Yeah.
You can be like, switch over to Madden. Halo's still running. And like once we play our game of Madden, I guess Madden's a weird. Could have said Fortnite, whatever.
Madden, bro.
Madden, bro. Because that's like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, so then you can switch over back to Halo once you're done, and it'll be in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
You want it to like load back into it. What I assume, it's like the PlayStation right now obviously has like, you can hit the home button.
Yeah.
And then go to like Netflix.
You home button, you can turn off your PC or put it in rest mode, and then turn it back on, and it'll still be,
But now you can do it with multiple.
Yeah.
They're basically saying you can switch between games and still have them running active.
Cool.
Which is very cool. Very curious about that. Like, does it slow down the performance of the console? Does it like you know, like when I'm running Photoshop, YouTube, and Adobe Premiere on my computer, sometimes it's like, hold on, you're doing too much here.
It might, but we'll talk about it.
Okay. So that's where we're there. Spencer also listed the previously announced features like the system's SSD storage, which we know the PlayStation 5 will also have, 120 frames per second support, optimized wireless communications with the controller as contributing to focus on instant immersion. Under the hood, Spencer said the Xbox Series X will have 12 teraflops of GPU performance. They're very into the 12 teraflops word. They've thrown it around all the time. And it's so great because we all know what a teraflop is.
Yep.
James, I'm going to ask just for the viewers, because I obviously... I know teraflops, right? Like,
yes,
I know
they've been throwing around this buzzword, and I've honestly like never heard it until they started using it for this Xbox. So, but it's actually been a thing for a while, especially with graphics. What is a teraflop? So you're like, what the flop is a teraflop? I've been saving that all day. I gotta say it. Anyways, gotcha.
I hate you.
Hate you. Okay.
You're such a prick.
So, like terabyte. Tera is just like a magnitude, like it's a scale factor. So it's times 10 to the 12 is 1 trillion. So it's 1 trillion flops. Flop is just broken down.
Floppy disk, right?
I wish. Yeah, it could do 12 billion floppy disks. But it's floating point operations. So FLOPS, floating point operations. So
wait, flops is an acronym?
Yes, it was a shit acronym because it's FLOPS. It's not like F and then the O.
Yeah, but that's
floating point really operations. Cool. So let me explain what floating point operations are. Yeah. So typically in computers, you learn about like ones and zeros. One meaning like yes, one meaning on, zero meaning off, and with integers, with ints, that's typically how you would like represent ones and zeros.
Just to be confirmed, the ints you're talking about are not the ints from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, they are not.
They're not the trees?
These are like simple integer values that a computer could process, which like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like stuff like that.
Okay.
Floating point values are like 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, which are actually really hard for a computer to process because you're not only processing like the integer value, but you're also trying to process the 0.000 or 0.012, like all those values. So this is saying that in 1 second, it can do 12 trillion floating point operations. Now let's put that in perspective. Let's break it down.
You need a whiteboard.
Yeah, I wish I had a whiteboard. This would be great. But the current highest end GPU on the market right now, 2080 Ti, can do 8, 9? Actually, no, I think it does like 8, 9 teraflops.
So the Xbox Series X will be more powerful.
Yes, than the current gen. But that being said, this is all AMD technology that's still hasn't been released. Like we still don't know a lot about like this 12 teraflops buzzwords. Right. But basically, it's just saying like AMD is coming out with some big guns. Yeah. It's coming out with stuff that can like outperform anything. Because basically, teraflops, like them saying 12 teraflops, it's like sometimes more is not as good. Because like sometimes you have certain graphics cards that outperform others, even though they have more teraflops. But more is actually better. Okay. In this case, more is going to be better because this is how it's going to be able to handle having a game being played and having it suspended and going to the other because it's going to be able to do multiple operations.
I'm listening. I just want to look at something.
Yeah. So you actually did a good job and you listed out some specs on the next page. So
we'll get there in a second. I think that's what I wanted to look at the Xbox One X teraflops. I want to see how many teraflops right now.
You want to know how much? I have a 1080, which was like a $500 GPU, and I think it only has like 6 teraflops or something like that.
Yep, so the Xbox One X has 6 teraflops. So this is going to be twice as powerful with teraflops than... Okay.
Yeah, and that's just AMD being really good, and they're probably like... The way you can optimize the system, because you're only making one system, you can outperform. That being said, what's the price? If the price is competitive, if it's like just around 500, north of 500... then the GPUs are going to be really dirt cheap, and I'm going to be buying those up like no problem. Mm-hmm. But I want to see.
We'll talk about the price later. So our big topic this week is also PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, what we know about them now, and kind of what we're thinking. And then, of course, when they get all the deep. This is a good place to kind of talk about what we're looking at. Okay, so continuing. Beyond these bits, Spencer provided a little more detail on some of the system's other features. He had previously mentioned Microsoft's first-party games would support cross-generation entitlements, as well as achievements as the games and game saves. Today's post specified that part of that would be called Smart Delivery, which lets players purchase a game once and be able to play it on the Xbox One, Xbox One X, or Series X version of it. Also, I didn't mention... Yeah, I did. Okay. So, James, what does that mean to you? What does Smart Delivery mean to you?
It's just basically like backwards compatibility, but with perks.
with going forward.
Yeah, it's forward basically. So you have games that you can buy like on old systems that work on new systems.
Yeah. So he was doing. Phil Spencer was tweeting about this. Basically, this is like where we got all this information. He was tweeting all these different blocks. As he tweeted this, simultaneously, CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077, commented on it. CD Projekt Red will be the first third-party company to take advantage of the smart delivery feature. And they basically tweeted, I don't have the quote, do I? Yeah, that we believe that customers should not purchase a game more than once. So once that the Xbox Series X version of CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 is available, you will get it if you own the Xbox One version.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
This is shots at Rockstar, but also CD Projekt Red being the best and also showcasing
the good guys, right?
Yeah.
That's they are. They are the good guys of the game industry. So, so beyond the benefit of the people upgrading from one system to another, Spencer gave a hypothetical situation where if a game launches on the Xbox One first and a customer buys it, it'll be able to play on the Series X version when it's released on the consoles later. While smart delivery is only guaranteed for first-party Microsoft exclusives, Spencer said that Microsoft is making the feature available for external developers and publishers if they so use it. So, that's another can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So here's what I'm thinking. I'm curious now. My first thought. What's your first thought with it?
My first thought is this is like a coverall to like handle games that are not going to come out in time or like on the old system, and they're going to have a new system and they'll be like, oh shit, like my game's on the old system. And this is just like to like cap all those games that are still in development and
I look at this in like a few folds. Basically, it's ensuring that we know that the consoles are backwards compatible. That like our digital libraries will be coming over to our console, right? Beautiful. So like my PlayStation 5, everything I own on PlayStation 4, I can play on PlayStation 5.
Yep.
This kind of is that argument with Steam and PC players be like, well, I get to keep all my games wherever I want, and you gotta figure it out. Like when I, played on PlayStation 3 Uncharted, then Uncharted was re-released for PlayStation 4. I'm a shill, I bought it. I played them all, I had a great time. But I had to buy it twice, right? So that's the argument.
Yeah.
So then Xbox comes out with, hey, you can do this now. You buy something on Xbox One, it'll be upgraded. Like we know that a bunch of first parties are going to be doing it. And obviously now we know Cyberpunk, which is Game of the Year, is going to do it well. My first question with that is PlayStation have a similar feature? Or are we going to be now in this 2 SKU system where some games on Xbox are upgraded and other games are then released just for PlayStation 5 and then a PlayStation 4 version?
No, there has to be backwards compatibility.
No, backwards compatibility, yes.
You mean like, forward compatibility?
Well, I'm saying like when the new Assassin's Creed comes out, right, which is maybe this year. Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, what it's called, the Vikings game. When that comes out, which maybe this fall launches with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, is there a version of PlayStation 5 version of Assassin's Creed and a PlayStation 4 version of it? The same game.
I don't think so.
Do you think do they just release the PlayStation 4 copy, or like they gotta have one for the new system?
Like it doesn't. It's just really dependent because it sounds like with Xbox being backwards compatible. Was it 2 generations, 1 and 1X?
Yes.
Or so that's basically it's like, well, I'm just gonna slap a Series X on there, and it's like this, but it's basically a 1X game.
Right.
So, but I think that may not be possible. Like I don't think PlayStation has something like this for PS4 games. I don't think they're gonna do something like that. That's like it just doesn't. That doesn't like float how PlayStation goes. But
right. But I think we're in a whole new world, see. Right?
I mean, this is relatively new with like all these. We knew like these consoles are coming out.
Yeah.
But it's like pretty fast. Like it's like boom, yep, 5 and X. We actually knew Xbox for a while. Like they've been like touting that up for a long time.
And we knew that everything was coming fall. We just didn't know details on it, right?
Yeah. We still know a little bit, but.
Yeah, so let's talk about what we do know, and then we'll dive into it.
Yeah.
So, I pulled a lot of stuff from Digital Trends. Gabe Gerwin wrote like a big piece about basically comparing the specs, and I kind of broke it down for us.
Leak specs, basically.
No, these have been announced. All the specs have been announced. Yeah. So any spec that I've listed has been announced. Because they both now basically, PlayStation has announced what's some stuff that's in their hardware. Same with now Xbox, of course, has as well. So we do know certain features.
Okay.
So the CPU, we're going to do that for both PlayStation 5, Xbox. James, you're the technical guy.
Yeah.
Tell me what I need to know about him.
Well, you put down 8-core, or I guess they put down 8-core AMD Ryzen.
Yep.
That doesn't tell me too much because it could be like a low clock. It could be like some low clock. I mean, like speed. It could be like low gig or like couple gigahertz or something like that. Or it could be like a really nice Ryzen. And Ryzen CPUs are pretty cheap.
Okay.
So that's good. You know, but AMD's always used on consoles. So and AMD recently has been killing it. They make better processors now than Intel for a better price. Yeah, they actually like they definitively do it with the Ryzen. So that's a good CPU.
And then the Xbox Series X CPU.
But you're with I feel like CPUs recently, you're not caring too much how powerful it is. Like it's nice that it's an 8-core, that's really good. But you're gonna want the GPU performance.
Okay.
So let's go into the GPU.
So the GPU on the PS5 is you're gonna probably help me. I know the second word's Navi because of Legend of Zelda. The Radeon Navi with ray tracing support.
Radeon,
there you go.
Yeah, Radeon Navi. It's AMD's.
Okay, with ray tracing support.
Yeah.
Obviously, ray tracing is going to be the big graphical thing of this.
Yeah, everything's doing ray tracing now, which is great.
Which is all about lighting and
how
light travels through.
And that's been like gate kept by Nvidia for a while with their 1000 series that I have, the 2000 series that they recently have, and with Navi. I've been like, I looked this up a little bit because I haven't heard too much about Navi, and everything's been hush hush. But it is a damn powerful GPU. Like flop wise, it's matching 12 teraflops, if not more.
12 more than 12 teraflops? James, is that even possible?
Yes. And also, one thing I forgot, I gotta correct this. It's gotta be on the book. When I've only talked about floating point numbers, floating point operations. Operations are like adding, subtracting, dividing, less than, greater than. Okay. All right.
No, I like that you know this stuff because I would just be like,
that's the combination.
Yeah,
but
really good.
But yeah, the ray trace. I didn't even know that AMD was going to do that. That's like I thought that was just an NVIDIA thing. So now everything's doing ray tracing. That means you've seen ray tracing like demos, right? Like what it does.
Yeah, I've seen the control one, which
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what they're aiming for.
You're gonna have beautiful games with this, and the specs are there. That's all I'll say.
That's exciting, and of course, PlayStation pushes graphics a lot. Yeah. It will have an SSD. We don't know the exact size of the SSD. Obviously, a solid state drive. I do know what this means.
Good.
No big deal. I do know what a solid state drive is.
I'm gonna guarantee it's gonna match whatever the Xbox is gonna put out. SSDs are really cheap right now. It's like less than $100 for a terabyte. Yeah.
So and we know that the big thing right now that Xbox and PlayStation are touting is zero load times, instant getting into your games.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about this later, but PlayStation
because that's what SSDs do.
Yeah, right. And PlayStation basically talked about utilizing this SSD, but they're also utilizing like how you're going to download a game. So like if you get the new Call of Duty, you'll be able to download just sections of the game. I just want to download multiplayer first because that's what I want to play. And they've also talked about the possibility of being able to jump directly into a game mode from your menu. So from your home menu, basically being like, go to Call of Duty multiplayer. That way you don't have to watch the Activision screen and then this and go to the next menu. So they're really trying to. Maybe we'll talk more about that later.
Cut down load time. Yeah, I mean load times haven't been a huge thing for like PC for a while with SSDs, but if they have like the optimized and NVMe SSDs, which I'm going to assume both are going to have that. We know the Xbox is, but they have to. It's pretty cheap, and it's going to be like zip, boom, like no loading. It's going to be beautiful.
Well, they gotta know what's in each other's boxes too, so I'm sure they're like,
they're gonna. That's how they're competing. Like because they're all using the same company.
I know, right? They all know. They got their people on the inside.
And it's probably Samsung SSDs. I can guarantee.
Oh, you guess? Okay. And then the PlayStation 5 will have a 4K Blu-ray player and an optical drive. Which is great because the most absurd fucking thing in the world, and it grinds me to my goddamn core, James. Pisses me off, and I'm not joking here. Okay. I own a PlayStation 4 Pro. Okay? Okay. It is a 4K PlayStation. Xbox has the Xbox One X, which is a 4K Xbox. Blu-ray is owned by Sony. Okay. There is a Blu-ray player in the Xbox One X, a 4K HD Blu-ray player. There is not a 4K HD Blu-ray player in the PlayStation Pro. They built a box about 4K and did not put a 4K Blu-ray player in. It's absurd.
Oh. Do you have a 4K monitor or 4K TV?
I got a 4K TV.
Damn.
Got a
Okay, so it does matter.
TCL.
Oh, yeah, TCL's good. TCL's
it's
good.
great. It's great.
Yeah.
Games are great.
TCL's very good.
When I first got my first big boy paycheck, I was going to get a PlayStation 4 Pro and a 4K TV. Like, all right, boom, boom. Bought it in August. Felt great.
Awesome.
Had control on it. It was good. So, we're moving on. We're going to talk about the Xbox specs. Do you have any final thoughts on the PlayStation 5?
I'm gonna assume there's gonna be more that will come to light, but these are the major ones. Like CPU, GPU are the major ones, and then
yeah, and Sony announced all of this basically in articles on like Tech Radar. Like, they just like had Tech.
I mean, they haven't been anywhere, so they haven't been like talking about it like Xbox. So
last time with the PlayStation 4, they had this big conference that in February that announced like these specs, and they haven't done that yet. Obviously, like
and they probably aren't gonna for a while with what's going on. So
yeah,
it's kind of rough.
The conference, yeah. Xbox Series X CPU, a custom AMD and with Zen 2 and RDNA 2 technology. What does that mean?
This is some new AMD tech because it's not Ryzen, so custom. It's probably gonna perform better than PS5. I'm just gonna assume that.
I would assume it's gonna be more expensive too.
But that being said, again, like I'm gonna reiterate, a better CPU is not the name of the game with a lot of markets. It's not gonna matter when you have a massive graphics like GPU power load that's gonna run everything.
So as a dumb guy who doesn't really get how things work, they just work and it's great. Like the body just works. I don't know how it works. I don't know how these lungs and livers work and all that. CPU and GPU.
Yes.
Computer processing unit, graphical processing unit. Right?
Yep, very good.
Yeah. I'm learning. You've taught me some things. What exactly you're saying? The CPU doesn't matter that much in regards.
So
what is the CPU doing?
Why you need a graphics card is because Mythbusters does a really good representation to this, and I'm gonna try and like speak out what they do. Okay. So basically, they have this paintball gun, and they do this like at a live show, and they show how a CPU works, and basically it goes on, and it's like it's painting a picture, and the CPU is just shooting one paintball at a time, like probably like boop do like just across the board, all painting this whole canvas like line by line by line by line by line, and then they bring out the GPU gun, and it's just a massive with a bunch of barrels, and it just shoots everything at once, and it's a picture. That's what a GPU is doing. It is outputting way more. It can do way more operations than a CPU.
But
so what is the CPU?
Is more precise.
CPU is way more precise, and it also is. It's handling like upkeep stuff, like stuff that the GPU doesn't really need to worry about, like stuff that the system needs to worry about, like time or like making like states.
Let me just hypothesize from what you just told me.
Yeah.
I don't believe the PlayStation 5 will have multiple games suspended. Like
probably not.
Because like you said, if they're having kind of a more standard CPU, they're not trying to read X amount. They're trying to get you to your game quick enough. You know, where Xbox is like, you can have a bunch of games open all at once, which I don't think I'd ever have. Like, it's a cool, interesting idea, but I don't need that. But that could be, like, they're handling more processes, but Sony's going to focus on the actual processes.
It's like having tabs open in Chrome. Like, you can have as many as you want. It's going to eat up a bunch of memory, but like
stresses me
at
out
the end of the day. Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, you're gonna just keep closing tabs because you want like better performance. So how many people are gonna use like multiple games open when it's like, hey, you have instant load times? Why do I care?
Yeah, I'd rather just load into one game.
Yeah. So performance wise, cool, but so what? Yeah.
So now we're going to the GPU. This is reportedly, so I guess this is not. It's not been officially announced. And I'm gonna butcher this word. Arcturus 12 has 12 teraflops. Well, I guess they've announced it has 12 teraflops of power, but it might be the Arcturus 12.
Arcturus, I don't know.
Okay, Arcturus, got no thoughts on that. But 12 teraflops. It's a lot of flops.
It's flopping. Buzzword.
It's flopping.
Like gigahertz and nanometer.
Oof. I hope these have a lot of nanometers.
They'll be very small. You want less nanometers.
The nerdiest word of all time is nanometers.
Nanometers?
We have to watch out for the nanometers.
I'll tell you a nerdier word. Picofarads.
Sorry,
do you know what a picofarad is? FARAD?
Can I be
A
honest?
Farad?
I don't think I want to know. I want to be
micro
ignorant
farad
bliss on that one. The memory. It's going to have a GDDR6, reportedly 16 gigabytes with 13 gigabytes reserved for games. That doesn't seem right.
No, that could be right.
That could be right.
Yeah, that's that memory. Man, it's GDDR6. GDDR6, I think it's graphical memory. So
16
right
gigabytes is not
now
a
I
lot.
have an 8 gig, probably 8 gig, and then there's 12 gig GPUs out there. I think this is memory for 16 gigabytes for the graphics card, which that's probably gonna happen, and 13 gigabytes for the processor, like the actual like your actual RAM.
Okay.
Which again, that's not too bad. Like anything above 8 right now is okay. 12, perfect. 13, cool. Yeah, I got 13.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you want more memory for your graphics card. 16 gigabytes, perfect.
Okay.
So that's probably why they have that. So you have more memory for, have some games that are just waiting to be
Multiple games open, right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. And then it will also have an NVMe SSD, and the size is also unclear. Same kind of feature of loading instantly, having that.
Yeah, NVMe SSDs are just more powerful SSDs, non-volatile memory SSD. So they're probably, it's gonna be like a slotted. So like they have like brick SSDs that you just attach in, and then they have ones that go directly into the motherboard. This is probably gonna be something that's like directly in there.
Right.
So save on performance, save on space, and then they're pretty cheap right now. So good money there.
And then, of course, it will have a Blu-ray player, 4K Blu-ray player, and an optical drive, just like the PlayStation 5, because you need those.
How can Sony sell them a Blu-ray player?
Yeah, it's just, well, that's like the thing. It's like it's such different divisions of Sony, they don't give a shit. Like, the
exactly. Right? Hey, money. Like, it's just money, baby.
Yeah, like whatever. So
just combine it.
I wrote down, this is not from Digital Trends. This is kind of what I've written down, just other things to note. Both will be backwards compatible with current generation. Xbox One obviously is compatible with many generations.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox One's accessories, controllers, etc., will be usable on the Series X controller and everything. Unsure about the PlayStation. If I was a betting man, I would guess that the PlayStation 5 will have the DualShock 5.
DualShock?
The DualShock 5,
the
bro.
DualShock 5.
The DualShock 5. So my guess is that, but they have said that PlayStation VR will work with PS5.
Okay.
The PlayStation 5 SSD, we kind of already talked about that.
Yep.
We don't need to get into that. The Xbox Series X will not be getting any true generational exclusives for at least the first year. Microsoft has confirmed that Halo Infinite will launch as a title for the Xbox Series X and Xbox One.
That's so soon. That's this year.
No,
I swear, it doesn't feel like this is all coming out this year, right?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how production goes with coronavirus.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And then Sony has only revealed one PlayStation 5 game, the melee combat game Godfall. We do know that one studio is currently working on another PlayStation 5 game, Blue Point Game Masters. The big rumor is that they're remastering Demon's Souls.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Blue Point also did the Shadow of the Colossus remake that will be free on PlayStation.
Yes.
Awesome. So, major things, obviously. We're talking about the next gen. There's going to be a lot of flops thrown around, a lot of graphics, a lot of, everything now is like, I'm sure that's going to be a big thing, right? The cost of these systems.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking? Obviously, I think it was kind of rumored that PlayStation 5 material was like $450.
I'm going to assume that that's correct on all this. It sounds like $450 material.
Yeah.
For both of them. Like, they're both around like $500.
Yeah, so... And consoles are notoriously, they don't make a lot of money on the console. They make it on the software.
Yep.
Consoles, how you get people to buy something.
Yeah. They can make a little profit on it.
I totally even see them maybe selling it for, I think it's going to be $500.
Yep, $500 MSRP for PlayStation? Could be more.
I don't think it will be. I think that, do you remember the PlayStation 3?
Yes, we all
They
remember.
launched it for $600 and they said you
and
get
I
a
went
second
straight to
job.
the Xbox.
Yep. I think everybody went to the Xbox.
But that was like $300 for the cheapest one.
For the Xbox?
360.
Yeah, Xbox 360 was $350.
Yeah, $350.
Yeah.
No way, this is gonna be $350 though.
No, I think the Xbox Series X will be $500-$600.
Yep.
So
agreed.
The big rumor too is that there is another model of the Xbox Series, or the Xbox Series S, which is like their base model.
Okay.
Less powerful. Do you buy that? Do you think they launched with two systems?
That sounds capable, but it just when you have like what I'm trying to think what their cut. It's like it depends. It's custom CPU, so I'm gonna assume that's like on board. Like that's like something that's just gonna be with it. But maybe memory wise, they can cut. You can cut a lot of price. You can cut easily like $50 to $100 off there.
Can they cut some flops? Can they get it down to 8 flops?
You can cut flops. I don't know if this is like a embedded GPU or if this is like a something that's like you can flop off. I don't know.
Flop off. Okay.
I love flops.
So it's a great word.
Yep.
And then of course, obviously, when does Sony announce what the hell's coming? Because like we really don't know much about Sony.
Summer. They're gonna have to pop off in the summer. They gotta like come out something before E3 and like kill E3 hype with their hype. That's what they're gonna do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for next gen. I actually think I'm gonna buy both.
Wow.
I was thinking about it. No, it's more like that. I love the convenience of a console is so much more appealing to me, just playing games on it. And I think I could use an Xbox and like just have it like for Halo and like Game Pass, and
But Halo is going to come on PC.
Deal. No, but it's playing on a PC that's frustrating. Like I know that my Halo is going to look great on this box. We're like, don't worry about the graphics card and upgrade and that. It's just I don't want to worry.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our breakdown of Xbox Series X. I want to call it the One X.
Yeah, the
Xbox
1X,
Series X
2X.
and PlayStation 5 coming out holiday 20. Any final thoughts on the next gen?
It's exciting. Yeah, but I'm worried that it might not meet it this year.
Me too. I think that's a whole other topic that we can dive into wise for coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So James, we're about to end the show, but before we do, we add one game.
Only one game?
Only one game.
This time.
Escape top 20 games of all time. So far, here are the games that we have. Super Mario World, Minecraft, The Last of Us, Doom 1993, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Halo, Halo 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. So you just mentioned PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, let me read off to you what came out for February 2020.
Let's hear it.
Sims 4. It's not Sims 4.
You love The Sims.
Firewall Zero Hour. I have no idea what that is.
VR game.
And my game that I'm adding on the list. BioShock.
Oh,
the collection was actually
sell me on it. That's
The collection was actually I picked it up. But yeah,
everybody should.
Yeah. And I'm picking BioShock 1.
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about one thing first. I want this on record, James. BioShock Infinite is the most overrated video game of all time. All right, cool.
Agreed. It's
BioShock 1.
Yeah. BioShock 1. This is the first FPS game that like had one of the best stories like ever. Like around that time it was like this game came out of nowhere and it was amazing. Like right off the bat, like you had this great world that you just kind of dropped into kind of.
Rapture, the underwater city.
Everyone's like crazy, basically. I don't want to spoil too much. Well, I guess I can.
I mean, that's not.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Basically, everyone's drugged out, and you go to you have Rapture, it's an underwater city, underwater oasis. It feels very like 50s, 60s ish time frame, but it's like there's no way you could do this in 50s, 60s, but like that's what it appeals to. It looks like it has really good soundtrack, visuals, and the way you fight is like. Again, that was like something like kind of new, like with the powers and shooting as well, and then there's
the wrench,
like, weapons, yes, and then the bosses. Boss.
Well, and the cool thing for me about BioShock, obviously, it's a very haunting game. It is. Yes,
it's scary.
It's a first-person shooter, but it is also a survival horror game of like eerie. And I played it when I was like 14 or something when it came out on Xbox.
It was 2008, 2009?
Yeah, so I was around 14, 15. Yeah. I think it's 2008 is when it came out. And I just remember like there's that first sequence where you basically you come down into Rapture and you're walking around. You don't even have you have a wrench. You've picked up the wrench.
Yep.
And you walk up to the first person that you see. The other person is a woman. She's crying over like a baby carriage. And you're like, oh my god, it's so sad. I remember I was like, this is creepy. And you constantly hear this like disgusting crying in the game and like howls and like moans, and it's just super eerie. You walk up to her and you're like, oh my God, like, she okay? What's going on? You walk up to her. She turns around. There's no baby in there. She pulls out a gun on you. And like, she's got this like freaky little like bunny mask. Like,
yeah, the bunny mask. Yep.
Yeah, just like Donnie Darko, like the bunny, you know?
Yep.
And it's like just eerie and creepy. And you beat the shit out of this crazy woman with a wrench. And you're like, oh, this is the game. And it's terrifying. And then the story is like you said, it's not just the story that you're on. It's what happened to this place. And it's
yeah, it's like
environmental
people
stories
that are trying to like tell you like what happened, and then
Yeah.
well, I don't want to spoil the ending, but you know,
No,
you basically
don't,
find
yeah.
out like
It's got a great ending. But yeah, and then you're picking up these audio logs that really bring the world feels like it's lived in. And I think that's, it's like, it's scary, but it's not horror. It's like suspenseful. And then of course, you kind of alluded to the bosses, the big daddies and the monsters, which are daunting mechanical men with drills and little girls that are like possessed that basically control them.
Yep.
They are like the protector of these little girls. And you get the option to fight them or not. And I love those moments of Bioshock.
Yeah, where you can save. Yeah, save.
Well, even that, but
like
you're walking down a hallway and you just hear, poof, poof, and you know that sound of like these footsteps.
Yeah.
And then you hear that, and then you see it, and you're just in a hallway. Or you're doing something, and you just see the big daddy. And you're like, oh the fuck, I gotta hide. I can't fucking fight this big daddy now. Like,
do you remember like any games that did that? Like before, it was probably like Resident Evil. Like was kind of like doing that kind of thing. But
I would say
that
Resident Evil.
That was like something like for me it was like kind of new because I hadn't played too much Resident Evil back then, and then it was like this is scary as hell.
It's scary, and I think like it proved like AI kind of like that existed in the world outside of you, like where like the big daddy wasn't looking to fight you, like you had the choice to fight it and save the girl or kill the little sister. I don't know why.
Yeah, you could harvest them. You had different endings.
Yep. Yeah.
Because of that. Yeah.
But obviously like. It felt like there was more to it than just you as first time it was about you. I always thought it was really shock.
The system to like get ammo to health and all that was pretty ingenious. Like how
those
that worked.
Damn vending machines. It's a circus of
Yep.
God, it's so eerie. If you haven't played Bioshock,
I feel like playing it right now because I have.
Also with the collection, because I did play it on the collection. The save feature is super weird.
It's remastered, right? The collection is remastered?
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's beautiful. But it saves everything like as like these huge save files that are like 50 megabytes.
Jeez.
And they're individual, so like you will fill up your hard drive on Bioshock's save file, so be careful. It's absurd. So
that's huge.
I agree full-heartedly. It is on the list. I can't wait.
Yep.
What an episode.
Glad that was out there. Yeah.
I learned stuff today on this podcast. Thank you, James.
I hope everyone else did.
In teaching all of us, the viewers.
Next week we'll go over transistors and MOSFETs and all the good stuff of electronics.
I thought we were going to talk about Transistor, the game by Supergiant, and I was like, I could tell you a lot about that game.
You can probably tell you more.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching this How to Escape Gaming podcast, episode 13. Lucky number 13. This is exciting. We're moving up in the world. I, of course, am Jake Burke. This is James St. Charles. Please follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and look on SoundCloud. Or audio version.
Spotify soon.
Yep, and pretty
hopefully
soon
when this episode comes out.
Yes, and we actually should have an intro to our podcast somewhat soon. That's exciting.
A very good animated intro.
Very cool animated intro. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. See you next week.